Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's bizarre episode takes place in the far eastern Russian province of Yakutia. This expansive province comprises 20% of the territory of the Russian Federation. Huge stretches of taiga and tundra blend together to create nearly void wilderness, which sportsmen are drawn to often. Much of the locals live very close to the land, pulling their resources from the plentiful fish and wildlife in the area. This province is dotted with hundreds of streams and rivers, as well as lakes and ponds. Scots Pine, Dahurian Larch, and Common Juniper are the common trees in the area, and common bushes include LingonBerry Bush and the weeping fig. The plants that cover the ground are beautiful and include Martagon Lily, Alpine French Honeysuckle, and the Arctic Aster. Common animals of the area include moose, Manchurian Deer, northern deer, and musk deer. The predators in the area include Wolverine, polar bear, polar and brown bear, Siberian tigers, and wolves. It is in this wild and remote setting that our episode takes place. On the 24th of April, around 8 a.m., 42-year-old fisherman Igor Vorozhbitsin was arriving at his favorite fishing hole. As he packed his fishing gear the day prior, his family expressed their hesitance in him setting out so early in the year, but he wanted to take advantage of a warm snap and enjoy his favorite pastime. Before he could leave, his granddaughter snatched his phone and hid it away for a little while, playing and teasing her grandpa. She knew he would rarely let her touch it, so she craftily snatched it from him. As Igor gathered his fishing gear and departed his car toward a secret fishing location, he reflected on how he had carefully charted out the area and devised his plans for the day to the greatest detail. As he proceeded down the trail toward the river, his car faded as it grew more distant. Just as the river bottom came into view, Igor felt a tremendous force throw him forward onto his face. Gravel and mud smeared down the side of his face as he grappled to gather his senses and determine what was happening to him. It took one very powerful paw swipe to his skull just above his left eye to clarify the most horrible reality. Igor was being crushed under the weight of a gigantic brown bear, which was already clawing at his skull. He uttered a scream as his hands reached toward the bear to fend off further damage. He wiggled onto his right side in an attempt to escape the bear's enormous weight and painful attack on his head. As he rolled over, the bear swatted him on his head and chest. It then sunk its huge canines into his chest and left abdomen, biting and clawing him rapidly in a frenzied attack. It bit onto his upper left arm as well as his right wrist and hand as he tried to protect himself from the giant predator's jaws and claws. The bear bruised and trampled Igor and his fishing equipment as it positioned and then repositioned itself to best get at the terrified man. Just as the bear closed in on Igor's head once again, a mysterious sound broke over the confusion. The words, "baby, baby, oh baby," permeated the air like an audio cloud over the violence. The bear immediately spun on its heels and disappeared into the brush, even faster than it had appeared. Igor, still completely confused by the change of events, glanced around, incredulously searching for the source of the apparently terrifying melodies. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his cell phone. The screen was lit up, and Justin Bieber's song "Baby" was repeating the chorus for each ring the phone sounded. As Igor recovered his senses and his adrenaline began to return to normal levels, he realized he may be seriously injured. He used his cell phone to reach out to some fishermen he knew were in his area and requested their help in returning to his car and seeking medical attention. The fishermen arrived as Igor was attempting to regain his feet. His face was bleeding and had significant gashes and bite marks. His body had several large spots of blood showing through his clothes, and he was in obvious pain. They helped him limp the short distance back to his car. As soon as Igor arrived at the hospital, the injuries on his head and face were wrapped in gauze, as was his left arm and right wrist. His abdomen and chest received bandages and were cleaned up. His left eye was swollen shut, probably from the impact of the bear driving him into the ground initially. In just a few hours, he was well on his way to full recovery. Now, this was not the only time that Justin Bieber's music had a significant impact to create an outcome. In March of the same year, students at Tenino High School in Washington State piped in Justin Bieber's music into the hallways, promising to turn it off once they reached their $500 fundraising goal. The student body obliged to put an end to their audio assault, and the fundraising goal was surpassed by the end of the first period, bringing in $915. After analyzing this odd and interesting bear attack, I'm left with a few questions. Do you think Igor would have survived had his granddaughter not changed his ringtone? Was the ringtone the only thing that drove the bear off, or was the attack the full extent of what may have been a defensive attack? Do you think Igor will leave the ringtone on his cell phone, and do you plan on putting it on yours, just in case? Igor never indicated how he felt about Justin Bieber, nor his music, but I'm prone to think that he must now be a believer and just thankful to be alive, baby. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.